Welcome back to Learn BC. You're here with Jared, and we're here talking about Manufacturing Operations 101. Wow, that's a tongue tie. This is about Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central with a partner company of ours called InsightWorks out of Canada with their advanced WMS and shop floor with many other extensions like PrintNode, like Quality, like DShip, and as such. So on their store, we use them all. They're a great partner. Now, let's talk about our structure of our SOPs. We read through these SOPs. Every SOP's going to cover a slide on context and rules, a slide on the procedures, maybe multiple slides on procedure if there's options, and then you've got the outcomes. The context and rules cover the trigger. What causes this to start? When is this relevant to you? What are the conditions that need to be met? And what are the key principles we're trying to encourage you to understand? The procedures step by step. Sometimes we've got some visual cues if they're available. And the outcome is straightforward. Usually it's success, but if there's exceptions, what to do when things go wrong and what do the post-life of that procedure look like? The green, grassy hills, the idealism of what it should be. We're going to talk about that as well. But before we do, let's talk about what's not right. Let's talk about what and why, and let's talk about the gaps and some of the gotchas and some of the things that go wrong. So what and why, I like to think about manufacturing as real-time, single touch, zero rework. So you could say that another way of saying, do it now, touch it once, don't come back. Okay. What this workshop should give you, the series, it should give you system confidence. You need to know the basics, the 101s of manufacturing. All right. Pick up a production order, add time, consume components, create output. It's very, very simple. We're going to take you through it. The second thing is the protection, to understand due process and what protects the business and you. The third thing is, at this stage, I've got 5 documented SOPs. We started with 6 with warehousing. We ended up at 12 plus. So I don't know where this is going to go, but we're going to keep going as the demand comes in. People are asking us to do videos. We're going to do them. We want clear step-by-step guides. We need to explain, give context, talk about the SOP, then we demonstrate them. And the last thing is self-sufficiency. We want you to have the capacity to be self-sufficient. If you're on the floor, we want you to know what to do when you're on the floor. But what's the cost of doing it wrong? Like, we can sometimes make decisions that are a little bit selfish. We think about what we need versus what the business needs. The operational discipline, which is all about real-time, accurate, and trusted. How do we get this wrong? One of these issues is called the truth gap. I've come up with this to help people understand the implications of systems. And this is just saying between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m., the system is lying. How did that happen? Well, at 10, I took a product. I consumed something or I outputted something. And then I don't update the system as I do it. So hours later, I do the system entry on shop floor. Now, what has happened is a knock-on effect that you may not realize that affects many others. The sales team, the warehouse, and the planning. The sales team say, hey, it says we have finished goods ready to ship, but they're not on the shelf yet. So let's say that we're going the other way with this. We're updating the system before we've done it. Like, you need to follow your procedures. As you finish, you output. As you consume, you consume. In the warehouse, the system says we have raw materials, but production has already used them hours or days or weeks ago, and that happens. Planning, the system says capacity to do more production is free. So I schedule a new job, but the machine is still running. Now that's a problem, okay? So the first thing here in our principles, before we get into the SOPs, is chasing the truth. We got to get rid of the truth gap. The second thing is avoiding the black hole. We have a warehouse, we have work in progress bins, we got finished goods. Now the warehouse physically in the building, available for picking and planning. That's where we start, but we move into this whip bin. We pick it, but it's not consumed, and then we leave it there. Or maybe we consume it and we don't consume it. So we use it on the job, but we don't consume it in the system. You know, the system thinks it's available, but it's physically on the shop floor or it's being consumed. Finished goods, the output but it's not moved, or it's not being outputted, and it's sitting at the machine visible to the sales team. Like, the rule needs to be, you gotta clean up your black holes. Like, don't have, transit bins or transit procedures are not storage procedures. And we've got to be really super careful that when we move stuff into WIP and when we bring it out into finished goods as an output, we put it away and we move on clean every single day. So one of the things we talk about is clearing your transit bins or your WIP bins every day. It might be every week, but the procedure to follow and keep them clean. So a black hole is our second principle to avoid. Avoid the black hole. The third thing for us is the iceberg effect. You need to understand that although I grab it now and I forgot to do it later, the cost could be tremendous. I've had some production orders clients would spend hours on just because the staff did not turn around and do it at the time. So the variance investigation can be 30 minutes to hours and hours of time wasted. And that's time is still the cost of the business. Incorrect finished goods costing, margin error, margin erosion, negative adjustments, financial write-offs, planning failure. The planning system falls over. So the third thing is we've got to avoid the iceberg effect. Number 4, what about phantom orders? The planning team's gone and created a plan, but it's not released. So the shop floor says, hey, I've got nothing to work on. Like the planning failure until production order is officially changed to release. Raw materials are not formally committed. The warehouse might pick for something else. You may lose your goods. Like machine capacity is not locked in. So you got to release your orders. You got to make sure. So the phantom orders is our next issue. And then you got the invisible lock. So it's like time. Materials can also lock stuff, but let's just use an example here. The action, the operator clocks on to a task on the shop floor but forgets to clock off at the end of the shift, or moves on to another job and doesn't change it. The system impact is the system assumes the machine is still running and the operator is still actively working on that specific production order, accumulating hours. The consequence, capacity is locked. The planner can't schedule the next job, and the cost of the current job is artificially inflated. The result is no available capacity, error and inflated production costs. We've got to get on top of this stuff. So how do we do it? The fix, clean as you go. What you clock onto, clock off. Take responsibility for your time. Our system links into your payroll. If you don't manage your time, you're not going to get paid properly. You need to make sure that as you clock, you are justifying for it to go onto your pay slip. So you got to make sure you're clocking on the system. Clock off immediately when you finish a task and clock onto the next activity. Don't leave time running when you walk away. Accurate capacity planning. Sorry, my tongue. Accurate capacity planning depends on exact start and stop times. The middle item here, consume as you go. Hey, I'm taking something, consume it. I'm taking something, consume it. But don't turn around and start a job and consume everything and then run it over 3 weeks and not consume it. And don't finish a job and not consume anything because it's just slack. Scan the materials the moment you use them. Don't wait until the end of the day or the week or the job. Do it as you go. Output when finished. When I finish a job, I go output 3. And what we like to do is configure the system. 3 stickers print out. There, your labels are done. Your objective in the manufacturing process is to get to the label. To do that, you've got to output. When you output, it goes into stock and then you put it away. What you see is what you get. Physical reality, system reality, no more. Insufficient, no more. I don't know what I'm doing. Keep it clean and keep it efficient. And you will find with these principles, if you can keep on top of these basics, and it's really just a behavior. We're talking about behavior of do it now. And don't look behind you. Don't keep a memory where I got to get back to that. I've got to get back to that. Do it now. Do one thing at a time and keep on top of your task list. And what you'll find is the system will work beautifully. Everybody will be happy. That is the introduction. We're going to step into our first SOP next. I'll see you in the SOP 1.